The flow of life takes people many places. For a time, it brought us together. We were inseparable. No force less than the force that brought us together could pull us apart. It seems as though fate decided we would be friends. Just as it pulled us together, it is now pulling us apart. The flow of life, the power of fate, and the innate ticking of time has now pulled us apart. At once, it did pull us together through the good and bad times. But now it is separating us. And so before I say goodbye, I'd like to recap the memories we all shared together. The first being the time that Scott almost killed us by drifting into a light pole. And the second being the time Brian almost got his foot eaten off by a giant snapping turtle. And last but not least, the endless open debates. They were great. And imagine with me for a second, it's pitch black outside. And Scott in his old black truck that was just about rusting everywhere, we're heading back home. I can't recall why we were out so late, but we were heading back home. And we come up to this empty intersection, completely lifeless. And the only thing that stands there is this tall light pole peering down on us. And so Scott thinks it's a good idea to drift. And he's a very inexperienced driver at the time, and so he comes to a full stop and hammers it right away. And I'll tell you, he drifted, but it was uncontrollable. He smashed right into the light pole and totaled his truck. And then much later on into the year, it got warm, golf courses opened up, and so Brian and I thought it would be a good idea to find that fabled snapping turtle at the Hartford golf course. So we're on the fourth hole, and to our right is this massive pond. It's always terrible if you hit into it with a golf ball. And we think to check there, like, why not check there? And so we get up to the shoreline, we don't see anything, and so we decide to hop along the boulders. Brian takes the lead, and he gets about 5 rocks in, I believe, and he comes sprinting backwards. The 6th rock, it may have looked like a rock, but it was a snapping turtle. Right before he actually put his foot on the thing, he pulled it away and ran, because the turtle actually turned around and tried snapping at him. Good times. So, and as I said before, we all compete in endless debates with each other. Rarely do they get heated, and that is honestly a very good accomplishment. And this is what kept us together. We can disagree on so many things, and yet we still remain the best of friends. I can only wish for that in my next scene of life. And so in conclusion, we were great friends, and we still are. I showed our bond by talking about, first, that time that Scott almost crashed into the light pole. Second, that time that Brian almost got his foot eaten off. And finally, I've talked about our countless debates. And the river has taken me somewhere else. I mustn't fight it. I wish for the same as you. I'm not asking you to come with me, but stay with the flow of the river and where it draws you to go. You can't ignore the river. It's the flow of life. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't create your own river. For some people, that's the only way the river flows. Nevertheless, no matter your philosophy, I wish you the best of luck in following your dreams. I hope one day we will meet again, and I hope that one day is when we are all more complete and all better of a person. And I hope that we all find that calm lake at the end of the river. But for now, farewell, my friends. You will always hold a special place in my heart.